Salamu alaikum. Kenya tunasema hamjambo. Lakini hata hiyo salamu alaikum tunatumia upande wa Mombasa na kidogo kidogo Nairobi. It is my pleasure to be here today, and I want to begin by thanking the Maalim Seif Foundation kwa kunialika kwa kongamano hili. I'm just wondering whether I should give way. I should not worry. Okay. This commemoration of Maalim Seif, who was at the time of his death the first Vice President of Zanzibar and a revered leader of long standing, having served in both opposition and government at various times during his enduring career. Niliwasikiliza wale walisungumza jana wakiwa yule aliongoza hiyo mazungumzo akiwa ni rais wa Tanzania mwenyewe Mama Suluhu Hassan, na wote walikubaliana ya kwamba Maalim Seif alikuwa ni mtu wa maana, na wakaelezea ya kwamba alikuwa ameheshimika na wengi, alikuwa anaheshimu watu, which was reciprocated. Wakakubaliana about his advocacy for political pluralism, his conciliatory disposition, yani mambo ya maridhiano, which enabled his party to form government of national unity between CCM and his party, ACT Wazalendo. I hope I'm getting the parties right. Yeah. And he became the past Vice President of Zanzibar. I listened very keenly to his enduring legacy because I didn't have all the details. Nimeasikiza mengi nikiwa hapa, na sasa nimemuelewa hata zaidi ya vile nilikuwa nimejulishwa yeye na gazeti na bwana Google. Najua siku hizi una Google tu unaona habari nyingi, lakini sio zote. Now, nimekuwa nikijiuliza sababu mengi yamezungumzwa na sitaki kurudia yale mmesema yote. Tunawezaje to effectively celebrate his legacy? Na sisi tunakubaliana ya kwamba tusahau mambo ya uchaguzi bora, tuseme bora uchaguzi. Na uchaguzi ukipita tuendelee na kuform governments of national unity. I think that will not be building on his legacy. Building on his legacy, and it has been said here by two people who intervened in the last session, is addressing the cause of disputes after every election. Na sio hapa peke yake, kwa jumuiya and kwa Afrika. What is the cause of disputes? Kutozingatia kanuni za uchaguzi wa kidemokrasia. And the process starts with the campaigns and throughout. Unaona vyama vya upinzani zikizuiliwa from taking their campaign to all areas as they wish. In Kenya recently, when BBI, constitutional amendment, BBI is short for Building Bridges. Some of us used to call it Breaking Bridges Initiative. Because you can't be building bridges on one side and you are breaking others. There's a contradiction. Na ndivyo mimi nikiwa nje ya hiyo building bridges nikaona pengine breaking bridges. Sababu una embrace one group, unatupa wengine waliokuwa karibu nje, and that creates tension. So we ought to address our adherence to democracy. Na imesemwa leo asubuhi Kwanza tulisema zile katiba tulikuwa nazo zilitengenezwa na wazungu. Ya Kenya ilitengenezewa Lancaster House. Na pia yenu najua ni huko. Tukasema hiyo katiba ni mbaya, si yetu, tunataka yetu. Na Kenya tukapata yetu 2010. Tunataka sasa kuivunja in the name of building bridges. Na hii si ya mzungu. Hii ni yetu. Tumeunda kwa safari ya miaka 20 plus. A constitution we got through hard labor, a lot of suffering and even death. Watu wakiandamana. Tunataka sasa kuivunja. We have a problem kwa jumuiya na kwa Afrika. We do not want to follow the rule of law. We follow it by kuzungumza to lip service. But when it comes to practice, we are against rule of law. I'm not worried about the leaders because leaders ni wachache. I'm worried about the rest of the people. Wasomi ni wengi. The elites are many. People who have gone to school, people who have seen it, people who have interacted and know everything. Lakini tuko na udhaifu wa moyo. Our problem is infirmity of spirit. Sababu kama tungesimama wima, we can make our elections free and fair. Mimi niliangalia nchi moja na mimi nitaitaja kule Kenya tunataja vitu tu. Wacha niwe Mkenya sababu mimi ni Mkenya. We saw America, an established old democracy. We saw a president try to manipulate elections. Anapigia official, anarekodiwa kwa simu, akisema just find 11,000 votes. That was Georgia. And that state, his party was the ruling party. But that official, who was his loyal supporter, told him, Mr. President, I got a job to do. Alikataa hiyo mambo ya find 11,000 votes. Wewe mwenzangu kutoka jumuiya, ungepigiwa simu, hata bila kupigiwa, unaanza kuanticipate what the president would want. Na unaanza kutengeneza na hujaulizwa. Ukiulizwa unatetemeka, unaona kama mko na yeye, karibu upige magoti, ukiendelea na hiyo kazi. Infirmity of spirit. Sisemi tusiwafanyie wakubwa ile inatakikana, but do not assist in disobeying your constitution and the rule of law. Lasting peace must be founded on the rule of law, on constitutionalism, on justice. And then we will not need to be forced to form governments of national unity. We will form coalition governments when it is necessary. When we don't have majority parties, we will still sit and form. That's what happens. But in Africa, and Kenya is a very bad example, tulikuwa na coalition government. It was forced. Hatukukaa chini ati tukatongozana willingly. Ilikuwa imepangwa mpaka iko wakati tulikuwa tunakanusha. You know our experience. 2007 elections, a very sad thing. Zikaisha, tukawa na grievances, opposition ikakataa kwenda kotini, wakaanza kuita ile waliita mass action. Ikawa ni mayhem and everything. Na blame hapa ni kwa pande zote mbili, because even retaliation when you are in government is wrong. You should use legal means to stop what is happening. So zote pande zote mbili tukawa watu ambao hawazingatii katiba na sheria za Kenya. Kukawa na vifo, displacement, suffering like no other time. Na tukawa tumechukiana kabisa. Hata salamu hakuna. Jirani wakatuonea huruma. President of Ghana, Mr. Kufur, akaja akasuggest, ikakubalikana na ile pano ikakuja. Wakati walikuja, mimi nakumbuka wakati wa kwanza tulipoingia room, tulikuwa tunaangaliana kama watu hawajaona, kama ukiwa na nafasi ungempiga mwenzako ngumi. Basi tukaketi, akatuongeleshea kidogo, akasuggest tusalimiane. Hatukuweza kusalimiana siku ya kwanza, lakini tulipigwa picha. A photo opportunity, ndivyo watu wa Kenya waone. Sasa tumeanza mazungumzo. At the end of it, we were able to talk, na tukapata serikali, grand coalition government. Lakini kabla ya hiyo coalition government kuwa formed, news would be leaked ya kwamba tutakuwa na grand coalition government. I remember being sent to go and tell the press that is not true, because we had not discussed. But I realized in diplomacy, you leak to add pressure to the negotiating team. Eventually, we did form the coalition government. Our side, I was on the government side leading Kibaki's team. We did not want it in the constitution. Why? Because people negotiate with a hidden card. You want to be able to appoint and to fire. Ukiweka kwa katiba huwezi ukafuta. The opposition walikuwa wanatuona vile tunaenda na walikuwa wanatuelewa. Mwishowe ikawa iko kwa katiba. Kwa hivyo ni ndoa haina talaka. Talaka ni serikali yote iende. But we were able to work together. At the end of the day, remember, hawa si wageni, ni watu wengine tumesoma na wao, tumekuwa kwa bunge for a long time with them. Some were friends until the dispute arose. Kwa hivyo hata wakati nchi zinapata hizo tabu zote, we actually, because of anger and the power struggle, you sort of lose some of your humanity. Because the way we treat each other like total strangers, that given the opportunity, you could even injure your colleague. That is not behaving like human beings. And that is why I would want to stand here and pay tribute to Maalim Seif, because I think what guided him is the larger picture. What will my walking out of this do to the people of Zanzibar, do to the unity in Tanzania? Because when there is total political disagreement, people suffer. And you saw it in Kenya, you have seen it also here. But when there is unity, then you sort of mitigate that suffering. So when we formed the coalition government after very, very protracted negotiations that lasted 2 months, March, February and March of 2008, things settled, and it's like there was no problem, especially to the leaders. Outside, things didn't settle that easily. If over 600,000 people are displaced, so many dead, their properties destroyed, things won't settle for them. But for us politicians, life resumed as usual. I was in cabinet and I could see watu walikuwa wanajipanga kulingana na their interests, not parties. Hata kama mulisikia mambo ya mkeka na nusu mkate kule nje, that was very rare. In cabinet, unaona watu wana argue according to where their interests are. If we are discussing a corruption scandal, wale wako ndani yake, it doesn't matter which side they belong to, they will be on one side. Wale wako on the side of the people, they will be on one side. So those disagreements are superficial. It's all about power. Very few political leaders are innate for the people. And from everything I know and what has been said here, Maalim Seif was there for the people. Na wale wako innate for the people, to many people, they appear like they are not very clever in quotes. Because people wonder, how can you be in this for so long and you have not amassed? Why are you not having as much money as the others? If you can't help yourself, how can you help us? And then the professionals, the elites, Instead of standing up for what is right, everybody is hoping that whoever gets will give you an opportunity, either to serve in government or for contracts. And I always ask colleagues, just how many people can get government contracts? Just how many can get government positions? Is it not better we create an enabling environment for everyone and then we compete? The lessons for me we should learn from Maalim Seif is to stand up for what is right. It may require a little sacrifice or a big sacrifice on your side, but you'll be building a lasting foundation for your country, for our Jumuiya, and for Africa. Because good things are infectious, bad things are even more infectious. I remember the 90s, how the wind of change blew from Europe. Ikakuja huku kwetu, ikafika Tanzania mbele ya Kenya, na ikafika Kenya later. Look, there's a recession of democracy in the world. Africa is more affected than any other place. Our elections are a sham in most of East Africa. It's a ritual, but it has been predetermined. So you can be able to say you have fulfilled the Constitution. So if we go on like this, we can as well abolish elections and adopt selections by incumbents. We are required to do something, not to cause strife in our countries. I am talking of institutions are manned by individuals. So my appeal is to us as individuals now, because we make the institution. If you're given a job of managing elections, manage them. Your oath is to God, because you always say, so help me God. Let us keep to our oath and let us do it well. Be that officer who tells a president, Mr. President, I've got a job to do. Be like that vice president of America, who, although he was such a supporter of his boss, defied him and went to preside over the Senate to validate the results of Joe Biden. At very great risk even of his life. If the invaders of Capitol Hill had found him, we don't know what could have happened. You see? So he risked not just his political career, but his life. Tuko na wazalendo pia, na Maalim Seif ni mzalendo mmoja, ni kielelezo. Tuko na wazalendo wengi, sio wengi ya kutosha, wachache. Lakini wewe unaweza kuwa mzalendo without becoming a politician. Unaweza kuwa mzalendo civil servant who is in a commission, who is in a court of law, because even courts are manipulated, let's admit it. The things happening, and we see them. You see what is in Kenya, we see what is in Tanzania. Munaona ile iko kwa jirani mwingine. The things happening, we are letting ourselves down. Can we please stand up and save our countries and our Jumuiya from this recession of democracy? Can we build on the legacy of Maalim Seif so that tomorrow, even when we form a government of national unity, itakuwa sababu tumechagua, sio kulazimishwa na circumstances. We can do it, and I believe that we will do it. Those who agitate look like the bad boys, the bad girls. We need such people. It is such people that bring change to companies, to countries, and to the world. People who stand up, and some end up losing their lives. If many people stand up, the risk is minimized. But if it's only one person, the risk is multiplied. Mimi naomba tu tuwache udhaifu wa roho so that we can be able to stand up for our country. Coalition governments are not difficult. Governments of national unity are not difficult, because It's not strangers, it's not people from Mars, it's people we've been working with. But let them be because we choose, not because we are forced. Let's not make democracy or distort democracy in Africa. Hakuna democracy ya Africa na ya mahali pengine. We are all looking for justice, for social justice. We are all looking for fairness and for equity. And to those of us in leadership, when you are in a position, tendea kila mtu haki, the way you would want. I used to say when we were making the constitution in Kenya, that we must make a constitution that keeps even your worst enemy comfortable. Why? Today you are in power, tomorrow you are not. I've been out of an elected seat for 10 years, but I'm able to function. Katiba yetu. Na ndio nilisimamia wakati ilitaka kuvunjavunjwa. And I tell those in power, you're going to be needing this constitution more than me. After you exit power. So you must look ahead. And that's another lesson we learn from the life of Maalim Seif. Always seeing the bigger picture. We are moving very dangerously in Kenya. And actually the situation, the tension keeps growing because of the tension between the president and his deputy. A very unfortunate situation, and the perception that the president wants his choice to be the people's choice rather than leave it to the people. It's not even a hidden hand. It's a most prominent hand that he has on the next general elections. And I think we have a responsibility beyond the president. What are we doing as Kenyans? And unless if we all move, or a majority move, to contribute towards a free and fair election, there is already a perception that the election has already been predetermined. And that's a very dangerous situation. We are vocal, but we are as careless as happens elsewhere, because we don't seem to really put it together at the end of the day. You have asked, every country, we are all the same. There are those who see the bigger picture, even in Kenya. That is how come we struggled for 20 years to bring in a new constitution, to bring change. That is why the struggle has not died. But the masses, don't always get excited. So there's a time for recession. And right now there is a recession. Even the civil society movements, the professional bodies are not as strong as they were yesterday. We have some that are so strong, but a majority are not. And why? Because the state learned that they can also form their own civil society, to be confusing the scene. So civil society is saying this, the genuine ones, the state-sponsored are saying this. That confuses the masses. A professional body is talking, there is a splinter group. Divide and rule, the same way the colonialists did. If you ask me what I would do differently, I would instill discipline. We would follow constitutionalism and the rule of law, period, without sparing anyone. Any club, even a small club of just women or men or family, if you do not follow the rules you agree on, and the constitution and the law are the rules of a club called a nation, there will be chaos, total chaos. We actually just need a bit of discipline. And that discipline is prescribed by constitution and the laws. And our countries will be okay. Good governance would come. Because you touch people's money, you go in. The case is finished almost immediately. There will be fairness to everybody. We just need to watch udhaifu wa roho and just a little bit of discipline, and all will be well. Thank you.